Okay, welcome to the very first in my new series of piano lessons for absolute beginners. There are going to be around 30 or so of these lessons spread throughout 2017. The idea is that they'll help you to learn piano and how to read sheet music from absolute scratch. If you already play piano a little bit but your skill at reading music is a little bit shaky, or you don't read at all, and I know that a lot of you guys who are already subscribed to my piano channel fall into that category, then these lessons will give you some of the kind of formal background that maybe you've missed. Being able to read music is an immensely useful skill, and although it takes a little bit of effort at first, once you've got the hang of it, it'll make you a much more flexible and capable pianist and musician in general. Okay, let's get going. In this very first lesson, we'll just be learning our way around the keyboard and learning about finger numbering, because I want to make sure that you really know that stuff before we go any further. Now, if you already know where all the notes are on the piano keyboard and how the fingers are numbered, and you're absolutely sure you know all of that stuff, then you can skip this lesson and go straight on to lesson 2. But if you're the slightest bit unsure, stick around for the rest of this lesson. So we've got this huge expanse of 88 notes and somehow we've got to get to grips with them all. Right now I'm focused on the middle of the keyboard so you can get a good clear view. Now first things first, we only use left and right to talk about our hands, never to talk about direction on the keyboard. When we talk about the keyboard, we talk about the bottom, which is down there, and the top, which is up there. As we go up the keyboard, the notes get higher, and as we go down the keyboard, the notes get lower. Okay, now 88 notes to learn sounds scary, but like a lot of things in music theory, that's a lot easier than it might seem at first, because although the piano has all these notes, they follow a fairly simple repeating pattern. Every white note is named after one of the letters from A to G. So this note is F, or rather it's one of the Fs on the keyboard. There are others. This is an F, that's an F, and that's an F. Can you see what they all have in common? Each one of those Fs is the white note immediately to the left of one of the groups of 3 black notes. F, 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 F. Here's a C. Now where do you think I'm going to find the other Cs? That's right, immediately to the left of one of the groups of 2 black notes. C, 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 C. Okay, and here's an A. Can you see how it sits in the kind of group of 3 black notes there with 2 black notes to its left and 1 to its right? Again, A, A, A. Okay, so let's name all the white notes starting on A. We've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And look, now we're back to an A. Now we're not always going to be thinking of them in that order, so now let's try it starting on C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and we're back to C. I've just played a C major scale there, which is something we're going to come back to very soon. So the first thing that we need to do is to learn those names of the white notes, because you need to be totally confident with them. Now to do that, I've created a diagram of the keyboard with the white notes labelled, so you don't kind of have to keep coming back to this video and wheeling back and forth to look at which note is which. If you head to www.billspianopages.com/beginners, you'll find a downloadable PDF, and in there is the diagram. Now, having a diagram is great, but we kind of need to get this knowledge off the page and into your brain, yeah? And the way we're going to do that is by playing a game. Now, as well as helping you learn your notes, remember what we said at the start of this lesson about learning how to number our fingers? That's in the game as well, as we'll see. Okay, it's pretty simple and has 5 kind of levels. What I want you to do is try to master each level before you move on to the next. Okay, so level 1 is just to think of a letter between A and G and play 4 notes with that name on the piano keyboard using any finger on your right hand. So you might go for B. B, 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 B. As you hit each note, name it. E, 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 E. If you're not sure where the notes are, remember to refer back to the PDF and the diagram. You've completed this level when you can just think of a note name like, D, and hit it like that, pretty much without thinking. Try to vary the fingers you're using, rather than just using, just using one or two, and also the order you play the notes in, so you're jumping around rather than just going up or down the piano keyboard. Level 2. You can probably see this coming, but level 2 is just like level 1, except we're going to use our left hand. Again, you should be able to get to a point where you can just think of a note, stick your left hand out and play 4 different notes with that name. Remember to try different fingers and play the notes in different orders, like this. G, 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 G. Or C, 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 C. Level 3 is where we're going to start thinking more carefully about our fingers. Okay, so take a look at your right hand. Now, when we're playing the piano, your fingers don't have names. We don't talk about middle finger or index finger or whatever. We use numbers. So the thumb is 1, and then going out to the little finger, we have 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's the same in the left. Starting on the thumb, 1, we go out to the little finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or first, second, third, fourth, fifth. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. The only partial exception to that numbers not names rule is the thumb. We sometimes do just call it the thumb, but usually it's all about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Again, there's a diagram in the PDF to help you remember. Now, what I want you to do is exactly what you did in levels 1 and 2, but using the fingers of each hand in order, starting with the right hand thumb. Name the finger that you're using and think of a note and name that too. Then play it 4 times with that finger. So 1, B, 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 B. 2, E, 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 E. Work through all of the fingers of right and left hand and do it over and over again, because what we're aiming for is the point where you can think of a finger, 4th finger, right hand, think of a note, G, and go G, 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 G. In level 4, we're going to use 1 finger on each hand, and we're back to doing pretty much what we did in levels 1 and 2. Think of a note and hit it. But this time, hit 2 of the notes at once, 1 with each hand. A, 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 A. Again, we're aiming for the point where you don't even have to think about it. C. Okay, nearly there, level 5. Here we're going to be playing runs of notes like this. Start in the right hand and pick a note, let's say C, and play it with 1, your thumb, then play the notes up from it using consecutive white notes until you reach your 5th finger. Then come back down. Sounds complicated, looks simple. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Repeat it plenty of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find a different note. G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Each time we're aiming to be smooth and even, yeah? But we don't want to hear loads of I want each note to be the same length and the same sort of loudness if we can. Let's start on E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can alternate naming the fingers with naming the notes. E, F, G, A, B, A, G, F, E. That's going to take a little while at first, but stick at it, really practice that hard. And again, we're going for the point where you can just put your thumb down and go D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you can also do it in your left hand, and this time we're going to be starting on 1 and going down until we reach 5. Say on A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A, G, F, E, D, E, F, G, A. So we're doing that over and over and over until you can do it without thinking. And by the time you can do that, you should have a great deal of confidence with finding all the note names of the white notes on the piano, and also, have some instinctive feeling beginning to grow for your finger numbers. Once you can do all 5 levels without too much effort, you're ready to move on to lesson 2. Now, doing all this note learning at first might seem like mindless slavery because, you want to get onto the interesting stuff, but it's really, really essential. If you can just get your note naming and finding to a point where you don't need to think about it, you free up lots of brain space for the more complex tasks that are to come. Yeah, it will make things much easier. I just want to also say something about piano practice. What's the best way to go about your piano practice? Well, the golden rule, especially when you're just starting out, is that little and often is best. So rather than sitting down for hours at a time once a week, try to do just 20 minutes a day or 2 lots of 15 minutes a day or something like that. As well as helping you learn in the most effective way, that will also help you to reduce the risk of injuring your fingers because you need to gradually build up the muscles that you need for playing the piano. One thing you could do is have those little regular practice sessions of 10 minutes or whatever, but also just try one of the levels every time you walk past the piano. It only needs to take 30 seconds. Okay, so there we go. The good news is that now you know your note names, you're well set to move on to lesson 2. But there's a bunch of other things you can do now as well. I've got quite a few piano tutorials on my channel on stuff like improvisation, where you can start to have fun and mess around on the piano without even knowing anything else but the names of the notes. I've included links to some of those tutorials right underneath this video, so go and check some out. If you found this piano lesson useful, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss upcoming tutorials. And number 2 is coming out very soon. Just click the little subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner, right now. I'll see you in tutorial number 2, where we'll be looking at some written piano music for the first time.